Richardson. Well, Brannan's got to be careful here. He was hoping that would have a safe passage out for a goal kick, but Atkinson was pounding along right behind him. Coming up to 5 minutes completed in this first period of extra time. Half an hour extra will be played, and should there not be any further goals in that period, we would have a penalty shootout to decide it. Teal tries to make that academic. I think the first half goal went to his head there. He doesn't normally get too many from 25 yards out, Teal. Wins the header on the halfway line. Turned forward then by Teal, who's now moved into the left-back position, it would seem. So they've changed things around again, I've noticed, Villa now. They've got El Barra back in at right-back. Ehiog has gone into the middle of the defence alongside McGrath, and Teal has come over to the left.
I think that's a good move. As I said before, that gives them a bit of stability from the back and start to build up again, because the reason they took a gamble was because they had to. They don't have to gamble now, not for the moment anyway.
Here is Ehiog, and McGreal scoops it away from Saunders but couldn't prevent it crossing the line. Gary Newborn down there?
Yes. Ron Atkinson getting worried, funny enough, about Pat Nevin not being marked to his satisfaction, and that's why he's moved him back, although Ehiog has now gone back into the right-back position.
Ehiog. It's a poor ball, made it very easy for Nixon. Well, almost inevitably after the tremendous excitement of the closing minutes of normal time, it's gone a little bit quiet at the opening of this period of extra time. John Morrissey, the remaining Tranmere outfield substitute, looks as though he might be coming on. I know that John King seriously thought about reintroducing him right from the start today, but decided against it in the end. Nevin battling away there with Barrett, and it's possible that Nevin might be the man to be replaced. It would be a winger for a winger. We will wait and see on that.
I wouldn't put it against Johnny King actually putting another winger on and playing with two. They have played that way a lot of times, and of course they've lost Hughes at the back now, so the sweeper system has been changed slightly, and maybe he may feel he'd be better with an actual normal back four and two wingers.
Nevin indeed does come off. He's not had the most effective of games today, and John Morrissey, who only recently lost his place in the side, comes in. I'm ashamed to say, I remember seeing his dad, Johnny Morrissey, play for Everton in the 60s. I was very, very young at the time, of course.
And I played against him as well, but I was very young as well. I think I was only about 13.
Free kick has been earned by Saunders.
They've conceded an awful lot of free kicks from a similar sort of area in this second half, and they've been punished a couple of times, especially with the goal which was from a quick free kick, and they've just got to defend in numbers and hopefully come through this period, and they'll be looking to grab one on the break.
We've got the extra presence of Ehiog in there now. It's Saunders who gets there first, though. He's not the biggest by any means. He's only about 5'9", but like all good players, he climbs so well, doesn't he?
It's the running off the ball that gets him in. It's the runs he's making. He's not big, but if you make the right runs and you're brave enough, and he certainly does make the right runs, and he is brave enough, you'll get your goals, and that used to be my trademark. You don't have to be 6'2" to score headed goals, but you do need to time your runs properly, and of course you need quality balls in, which Villa have done all day, as we've said.
Well, if you happen to be just coming in from walking the dog, you've missed some excitement here, but there's still plenty to come. It's 3-1 on the day to Aston Villa, 4-4 on aggregate. We're playing extra time, and we've got just a little over 5 minutes of the first period of extra time remaining. Should never walk the dog on a Sunday when there's football on anyway. In goes the free kick, not very successfully, goal kick. Well, you can only imagine what Johnny King's thoughts must be, having seen his emotions seesaw today, Kevin. They really have seesawed, haven't they?
Yeah, but he'll still believe that they can get there. And some of the players may want to doubt it. They may feel things have gone against them, but he'll still believe they can get there. And he'll want to walk the same path as Spill Shankly, his great idol.
There's Morrissey. I think it's his first touch since he came on. Another winger in the Nevin mould, tricky, good at taking players on.
And an excellent crosser of a ball. He probably is one of the best crossers of the ball in the first division. He really is. If he gets into those areas, he will deliver. That is it really is, I think, his strongest point.
Malkin awaits the free kick. Taken by McGreal, over everyone's head though, apart from Teals. Players getting tired now. You can see some slightly inaccurate clearances coming in. O'Brien seems to be as poised as ever though.
He's so calm on the ball, he won't get flustered. He plays at his pace and he plays well at that pace.
Here goes Morrissey using his pace against Barrett. And you've got to have some pace to get around Barrett.
Yeah, you don't only need pace to get around Barrett. He's very, very strong. Upper body strength is terrific, and just there, he just nudged him off the ball. And I think Morrissey was wanting a free kick, but it was a perfectly legal challenge. It was just sheer strength. Pace and strength, that's his two great assets, Earl Barrett.
Good header clear by Thomas. Aldridge only just offside there. He's having a real go at the linesman, and where we're sitting, it looked very, very marginal, that. 35 now, John Aldridge. Great character, great lad, great career he's had, and if he could get back to Wembley in these days, when many players are thinking of the old second career, that would be some story.
I think looking at it from this point of view now, really, I think Tranmere would be happy with penalties, and I think Villa are the ones who want to go and try and take this game now.
Here's McGrath. Fenton. And that's a corner, yes. So the big guns come forward. McGrath. Ehiog's gone to the near post, and Teal hanging around on the edge of the box. It's Teal who it was aimed at. That's gone out for a goal kick. Let's go back to Gary briefly.
Well, in contrast, Alan, to Ron Atkinson, who I've never seen leap around as much as he has this afternoon, John King has kept pretty calm. His main concern, as Kevin was saying, I think is just to survive extra time. He's been yelling to his players, get tighter and tighter, but I think the first signs of real tension are getting through to Johnny King. He's just asked me for a drink, and I've just thrown him a soft drink, and he's obviously really feeling it now. The question for him is, can Tranmere, have done so well, hang on and survive to penalties?
If you threw him a soft drink, I'm surprised he didn't throw it back here. He likes his pint, John. With a sliced clearance, touched away by Atkinson to Saunders. Townsend, Fenton, Saunders. Difficult one that for Nolan. He did well take that high on the chest. Malkin gets it forward and swept up calmly by Richardson. Moved into the last minute of the first half of extra time now, without any addition to the scoreline. Fenton. Sliding tackle by Higgins. Villa get the throw. And it's been a fairly uneventful first period of extra time, this. Tiredness playing a part now, I'm sure. O'Brien for Tranmere Rovers. Ehio challenged by Malkin.
It's a bit like the first round of a fight again, you know, the sort of impetus has gone a little bit and they're sounding each other out.
This would have been a corner if it had gone. That's why Tranmere was so anxious. And that's the end of the first period of extra time. Let's quickly bring in the watching managers of the two teams who will join battle on Wednesday. Trevor Francis and Alex Ferguson for their views. Trevor first, perhaps.
Well, I think that it appears that Tranmere are looking to take it to penalties. I think the emphasis is on Aston Villa now to get the goal. They will want it to go to penalties at the moment, but it looks as if it could go to penalties.
And Alex, what's your view at the moment?
Well, that's what Tranmere are now playing for, and I think the little bit sharpness has gone out of Villa's game, having scored the third goal. There's a drop in the tempo of their game, which tends to suggest that maybe it's going to go to penalties now.
Thanks, lads. And a reminder at this point that the second leg of the Sheffield Wednesday against Manchester United semi-final will also be live on ITV on Wednesday night. And before that, you can see Arsenal's European match live as well. That's got an early evening kick-off. Check your newspapers for details. But at the moment, we are possibly 15 minutes away from deciding one of the Coca-Cola Cup finalists. I say possibly because a reminder, if there are no more goals, we will have penalties. It's a big prize, Wembley, and one of the foremost cup competitions in English football, and of course the possibility of Europe as well if you go on and win it. Saunders. Townsend, lovely ball. Daly. Nolan barring the way. So it goes back to Barrett. Daly again. It's a dangerous cross. McGreal gets it clear. Only as far as Saunders. Loads of room here for Townsend. It's a brilliant save, and it's hit the post. And it's still not out, is it? The referee's looking to his linesman, and the linesman has flagged. So
you just cannot back off like Tranmere are trying to do here now. Nobody wants to come out of the box. And it's incredible amount of space he's got. I mean, he's a class player. He's looked to bend it in the far post, and to be fair to the keeper, he's made a great save. But Barrett really should have put it in. But again, it's on his left foot, and he's hit the post.
Same post Aldridge smacked in the normal 90 minutes.
But Tranmere are dropping deeper and deeper and inviting trouble, and they nearly got it there. They got away with it, and maybe they'd be wiser if they pushed forward a little bit more.
Barrett for Aston Villa. Daly loses out in midfield. Irons. That's good play by him. He's grafted hard today, Kenny Irons. Plays it in behind Aldridge though. And Aldridge, despite being on the ground, has still almost got the ball. O'Brien with a tackle, but Villa come out with the ball. Benton has continued his run, and he's in a good position on the 6-yard box. The cross stopped by Higgins first time, but Atkinson's still here. Daly. Atkinson again. Too many defenders between him and the goal. Richardson. And that's no problem for Tranmere this time. The statistics tell all the story there. 3-1 Villa lead in the match. 4-4 the aggregate score over the two legs. 17, almost 18 minutes of extra time completed. And still we clubs or one of England's smallest clubs, who were almost out of business and out of the league just 7 years ago.
I've been to Villa Park many times, Alan. I don't think I've ever known such a good atmosphere for a game. I've played here on occasions in big games, but they really got behind the team, and possibly they've hauled them back into this game in the 90 minutes, and they could be the difference in extra time. But you keep getting the feeling now that Tranmere less and less are trying to play the way out of trouble, and they're just kicking it long and saying let's just try and hold out. And against Villa, with the talent they've got in the side, that could be difficult.
That looked a nasty injury here to Townsend. Judging by his reaction straight away, he was absolutely writhing in agony, and a lot of the other players have gone over anxiously.
Well, it'll cause great concern, because of course they haven't got another sub to bring on, have they? So they could end up with 10 men if it was serious, and that's the fascination of football.
That looked horrible. It looked really horrible. His leg got caught at a very nasty angle.
Yeah, he's possibly twisted his knee. It could be a ligament. It may be nothing more than just a slight knock. But it was Liam O'Brien himself. It was a fair enough challenge. I think he just fell awkwardly.
Yes, exactly. Well, that's not what Villa want at this stage. As Kevin has said, they don't have any more substitutes left. Well, none they can bring on anyway.
He's certainly, is in pain there.
Well, Andy Townsend feels he's got a bit of a jinx on him in these semi-finals. As I mentioned earlier, he's played in 5 before this in the various big competitions and never been on the winning side. It'd be ironic if he wasn't even able to complete this one because of injury, and certainly it's taking a long time for Jim Walker to sort him out here, and the other players look on very anxiously indeed.
You also start to look ahead and say if it goes to penalties, he probably would have taken one of their penalties if it gets that far. So possibly would Houghton, who's gone off.
Yeah, good point.
He'll be looking around on action thinking, hold on, who's going to take these 5 penalties for me? He will be thinking things like that. And then he'll be telling himself, don't be silly, we'll win it, it won't come to that. And, all sorts of things go through your mind. But he's got up, Townsend, thank goodness.
An anxious moment, though, when he first has to run for the ball or make a challenge. He's twisted his knee quite badly, obviously. So we'll have at least a couple of minutes stoppage time to add now. So although the clock's showing 21 minutes, which would only give us 9 more, it's more likely to be 10-11, I would think. Delivers the kick as long as he possibly can, and it's touched on towards Aldridge. McGrath gets it away. Townsend is limping now, virtually unable to even jog for the ball in the middle of the field. They'll try and keep him on as long as he can for, as they say, nuisance value. But what they won't want, of course, is for him to make that injury even worse simply by staying on. He's trying to run it off, but he's looking very uncomfortable. Meantime, Villa have a free kick. Swung into the box towards Exhilerating. Cleared by Thomas, the Tranmere son. Now O'Brien. The linesman has flagged for offside in the middle against Daly and Atkinson.
Say that Tranmere have done tremendous here. They've come here, they've not tried to defend that lead for a long time. They've been forced into defending it in the end by the superiority of Villa at a vital stage in the match. But they have been a terrific advert for the division, and they've still got a chance of getting there. I mean, there's 9 minutes left, possibly a little bit more because of injuries, and there's all to play for here still.
Well, certainly Villa are effectively reduced to 10 men at the moment, because Townsend is just hobbling in midfield, couldn't reach that ball, for instance. Exhilerating could certainly reach that one, and in reaching it, he's taken Malkin by the ankle as well. That was a bad challenge, really.
He'll get booked for that one, I'm almost sure. It was bad, it was, you know, there wasn't really any intention to play the ball here. And it's the first really bad one we've seen, I think. Yeah, people might argue that he got the ball and the man, but it's the way in which he did it.
I don't think there's been a yellow card, and there's not going to be one for that challenge either. And I think Alan Gunn should be applauded for his attitude to the players on the field today. He's not one of those referees who goes around showing cards like, you know, confetti at a wedding.
He obviously doesn't like writing reports. I think they've got to send a report in every time. And I mean, you wouldn't have argued if he booked about 3 or 4 players here today. I've seen players booked for a lot less, but actually he's kept the game moving. And because of that, I think the players have respected it and done the same. And he's helped make it a better game of football than it possibly would have been had people been booked early on, you know, 4 or 5 yellow cards dished out. Because it's never been that sort of game, really.
So John King, who's seen it all in his 55 years, and an awful lot of them in football as well, and he had part-time jobs once as a window cleaner and things like that, the Tranmere manager, when he went out of the professional game and coached Northwich Victoria and Carnarvon in the non-league circuit. Still wondering if he can take his beloved Tranmere to Wembley. Here's Morrissey, trying to make that dream come true, but he's dispossessed rather easily there. Townsend played that forward and then winced with pain as he did so. That looked a foul by Richardson on Irons, and that's how Mr. Gunn saw it as well.
Irons has done very, very well for them. He's not the quickest, but he's just kept plugging away in there. And as the game's got on and players have got tired, his strengths made him look a little bit quicker than he did in the early stages of the game. And he's starting to have an influence in that midfield for Tranmere.
5 minutes plus stoppage time to sort out the winners. O'Brien for Tranmere Rovers. Malkin. Oh, it was a tired sort of ball by Malkin, but it's not surprising. Villa get the benefit of the throw. Well, this game has inevitably had its periods where the action has sagged a little, but by and large it's been a very entertaining afternoon of football, which began in really dramatic fashion. I wonder if it's going to end that way. Well, it's bound to anyway, even if we don't get a goal now, because that would mean, of course, that we would go to penalties. 5 to each side, and if it was still level then, sudden death as they call it. O'Brien, Morrissey. The clearance was by Teal. Brannan heads it forward again for Tranmere. The ball hit Irons on the back from Brannan's pass. Now McGrath. Well, both sides beginning to look very, very weary indeed now. O'Brien. Challenged by Daly and Atkinson. I think O'Brien has arguably, Kevin, been Tranmere's best player today.
Yeah, he's played very well, Liam. I mean, for him, I would love to see them go to Wembley because, as I say, he did so much for me and for the Newcastle fans as a Newcastle player. And he's shown a lot of composure. You know, he doesn't get ruffled easily, and he's looked a quality player in there. The others have looked like they've worked hard and they want it, but he's been the quality for them.
Now then, Teal coming forward. It's forbidden territory normally for him, this. But he's done well. Saunders. It's a good cross. Atkinson threw himself at it, so did Brannan, and he got there first. Irons now for Tranmere Rovers. It's a great break outside him by Malkin, and he tries to play him in. Ehiog holding him off, and he did well. Good defending by the Villa substitute.
Yeah, he's already an under-21 international, and his strength got him through there, plus his pace.
Well, he couldn't do anything to keep the ball in, though, that time. And we have now just 2 minutes plus stoppages to try and sort this out without the need for penalties. Townsend has got a little bit more hard work to do. Here's Aldridge. No foul. Richardson comes out with the ball. Atkinson couldn't control it.
There's no doubt about it, Alan, the quality of the play in this extra time hasn't been anything like what we got in the 90 minutes, but as you say, it's understandable. The players get a little bit tired and, you know, frustration creeps in, and then they want to hold on to what they've got. And more and more, as we said, as we watched it unfold, it looked like penalties, and I think that's the way it's going to be.
Still time, though, for a winner from normal play. A minute, and I would say because of that lengthy stoppage for the injury to Townsend, maybe a couple of minutes as well. Kevin Keegan, your man of the match?
Dean Saunders, just edging out Liam O'Brien. I think Dean Saunders really is back to something like his best day. He's run every yard of this pitch, he's worked hard, and he's been very creative. And it's been a game dominated by teams really than individuals, but I think he just edges it for me.
Well, Thomas has conceded a free kick, a horrible moment of feeling deja vu perhaps for Tranmere, who conceded a free kick late on in the first leg, from which Villa got a goal. A goal now, and obviously Tranmere's dream of Wembley would be over. So they've got to concentrate hard again now. Can this be the moment where a Wembley place is clinched? Richardson with the kick, headed away though by Higgins. Malkin has lifted it forward to Aldridge, who's done well. Irons, Morrissey is out on the right. We're now into stoppage time at the end of extra time. Morrissey bolts over the challenge, and the referee was happy it was no foul. That's a goal kick, and that might mean now that the penalty shootout will be needed. But who knows how much time Mr. Gunn will decide to add. Here's Atkinson. Belts it forward, one last time perhaps for Tranmere. Teal. Over Nolan's head to Saunders. Now Townsend. He did really well there, Townsend. Ehio. Into the box again to Saunders. They need to get it in the middle now, though, if they're going to try and force it. The referee's had a little look at his watch again. Given away by Richardson. Long ball for Irons to chase, but he'll never reach that. It wasn't a very good ball.
Yeah, the quality of Tranmere's long balls out of defence, from really the start of the second half right through this period of extra time, has not been good enough to cause Aston Villa problems. And it's made John Aldridge get very frustrated up front, because it is hard work up there, and you're chasing absolutely no hope balls. It does destroy you eventually.
This could be Tranmere's last attack. Morrissey. Nolan on the overlap. He could do with a corner here, or maybe even better. Morrissey. Good looking cross. Headed away though by McGrath to O'Brien. Oh, Aldridge almost got on the inside of Ehio then, but almost wasn't enough. Now Atkinson, we've had 2 minutes and more of stoppage time. Daly and Atkinson on one of those great runs. What a run by Daly and Atkinson! Atkinson again! That would have been one of the goals of all time.
I remember him scoring a goal, something like that, I think against Crystal Palace, was it, or someone. He's so much strength here, and he's going against tired players, of course, but he's getting tired. And actually, I thought it was going to be a penalty here, because that would look like a lunge, but he stayed up, to be fair to him, and the keeper did well.
He even had the temerity to play a 1-2 off the Tranmere defender, Higgins. That would have been a goal they would have talked about for another 50 years if he'd have clinched a Wembley place with that run. My word. And still the referee hasn't blown that final whistle. And still there is a hope for either side to do away with the necessity for penalties. But I think now the referee has had the final look at the watch and the signal to the linesman.
Neither keeper in this extra time has had a save to make apart from that one from Nixon. It's been I think on one other. I mean, it's been a poor extra time when you compare it with the rest of the match, but nevertheless fascinating.
And extra time comes to an end. And this quite amazing, really, Coca-Cola Cup semi-final will have another chapter to be added. A match which started with Tranmere defending a 2-goal lead from the first leg, a lead that was wiped out quickly by Aston Villa. Tranmere got a lifeline back with an Aldridge penalty, and for all Villa's efforts it looked as though Tranmere were going to hang on, but with a minute and a half of normal time to go, Daly and Atkinson forced the match into extra time, which was largely a non-event, frankly, apart from one dramatic run right at the end by Daly and Atkinson. But now we'll have penalties. Eric Nixon might have got a knock as well when he came out to prevent Daly and Atkinson rounding off that run with a shot on goal. And that will be worrying, because he's got a very important part to play now. Kevin, it's an age-old debate since penalty kicks came into being to decide the big matches. What's your opinion?
Well, I've always been of the opinion that it's not really the right way to decide a match, especially a match of such importance as a semi-final of a Coca-Cola Cup. And, you know, I won't change that. But having said that, if you go on to replay after replay after replay, you get into fixture pile-ups, you know, it's not really the answer either. There is no perfect answer to it, but it certainly adds a little bit of, if you like, flavour at the end of this cup tie. I mean, what worries me is that it's not that somebody's going to be a hero, it's that somebody's going to be a villain. Someone's going to knock a penalty wide. Someone's going to, you know, cost them a chance to go up to Wembley, and it really is almost a lottery when it comes to penalties.
And I think you've been involved, obviously, as a player and a manager in these shootouts, haven't you?
I don't know if I have, you know, I was trying to think. I don't know if I have, because it's that long ago since I played. We used to go and have replays in those days. But I certainly don't think it's the right way to decide a match. But until someone comes up with a better solution, I mean, the ideas I've heard have not really been suitable. You know, play on until one side scores a goal. I mean, we could be sat here at 9 o'clock tonight if that last period of extra time was anything to go by, because neither side looked like scoring. You could see the players were tired, and when they get tired, that's when they get injured. And, you know, I don't think that's to the benefit of the game. So someone's got to come up with a better solution. You know, people have said corners. Other people said yellow cards. Well, there hasn't been any today, so that wouldn't have helped. On corners, Villa would have won, but then the second leg was at home, and that's such a big advantage. So
I'll tell you one important thing I think that's been overlooked as well about these penalties, and it's strange this, because I checked with the referee beforehand that if we went to penalties, which end would they be taken? I think they should toss for choice of end, or maybe have 5 penalties one end and 5 penalties the other. Because if you're a Tranmere player and you've got to take penalties in front of the Holt end, then, you know, that adds an awful lot of pressure. They will decide which end, and then the players have just got to get on with it.
Well, the rule is, I think, that the referee goes, if one end's much better than the other, in other words, the penalty spot and everything's, you know, muddy at one end and quite clear at the other, then you take that end. But I am under the impression that they do flick up. It's a toss of a coin.
No, they don't. They toss to decide who takes the first penalty, not to decide which end it is.
The referee decides which end it is.
Correct, yeah.
Yeah. Well, whichever he decides here, he's going to upset somebody, because there's, what, I don't know, 14, 16,000 behind that goal, who are all claret and blue. And there's a massive following for Tranmere. I mean, when they talk about 2 clubs on Merseyside, there's 3 clubs on Merseyside now. There's no doubt about it. And they fetched a terrific support here today. And, you know, good humour support, because I had to walk by them to come up here. And, you know, the Scousers, and they enjoy the banter and they enjoy a bit of fun. But I think, you know, if any justice had been done, it probably should be at the Tranmere end, to give them a slight advantage, because you felt today that everything's sort of gone against Tranmere. I think they are going that way, actually.
Let's have a quick word now from, yes they are, from Alex Ferguson, who's, I know his Manchester United team have been involved in these shootouts. Not that successfully, Alex, either.
Absolutely hopeless.
So you're not a fan of them, eh?
Well, as Kevin says, you know, replays could go on and on, so I think it's the only way, you know.
Yeah.
And I just feel now that Aston Villa have lost their opportunity, possibly, that Tranmere may just get through now.
Thanks, Alex. Psychologically, anyway, Tranmere will be taking the penalties into the end in which their fans are gathered. And Dean Saunders, will take the first kick for Aston Villa against Eric Nixon.
Having just picked him as man of the match, I hope he doesn't miss this one.
So, penalty number 1 in the first of 5 for each side will be taken by Dean Saunders for Aston Villa. No problem. The relief you can see, you can reach out and feel. Getting away to a good start like that is absolutely crucial.
You get the feeling, Alan, that Bosnich, who is very, very athletic, we've already said that, you know, if he goes the right way, he'll get it if it's in the top corner or the bottom corner. He's just got to try and guess the right way, take a chance.
Kenny Irons takes the first Tranmere penalty against Bosnich. And same corner, same outcome, same score, 1-1.
Terrific penalty this, absolutely no chance. Actually took a little bit of paint off the post almost, it was that good.
Right, the man dubbed John Wayne by his manager gets off the horse, ties it up to the post, pulls out the gun, gets his finger on the trigger and fires the bullet right down the middle.
He'd have been on the first train out of town if he'd have missed that, John Wayne or not, you know. Terrific penalty. You always feel that he's going to blast it. Good left foot, hit it straight in the middle of the goal, and you know, that's a popular place now to place penalties.
So all 3 penalties have been successfully converted. Now it's the turn of the substitute, Tony Thomas, to try and keep that record going and bring Tranmere level at 2-2. He's taking a long run up, and it was a successful run.
Very good penalty from a young man who's not played in the whole game, but tremendous confidence there.
Now here's an interesting moment coming up, Kevin, because somewhat surprisingly, the inexperienced and young Graham Fenton has got the next penalty now for Villa. I think managers will say it's all about who wants to take them, who's got the bottle, and here's a young lad who has got the bottle. And he's got the accuracy as well.
He's a Geordie. Took his time, he picked his spot, and may have looked like a gamble, but he strolled up there very confidently. This is a good penalty.
3-2 on penalties to Villa, but Tranmere's third still to be taken. No one has missed. Almost symptomatic of the way this two-legged tie has gone. Jed Brannan is the next man in the firing line for Tranmere Rovers. He saved it, Bosnich!
This is where it becomes a game within a game. The 2 penalties that they've taken so far have both been in to Bosnich's left, and he must have been thinking, I bet he thinks he's going to put it there, I'll put it in the other one, and he's gone again. And as we said before, he is very athletic, and it was just at the right height where keepers like it. He didn't have to go down for it, he didn't have to go up, he just had to go across.
I remember right at the start of the season, unfortunate there for Brannan, but right at the start of this campaign, Bosnich saved the penalty coming on as a substitute in the opening round against Birmingham from John Frayne. I wonder if another penalty save is going to be crucial. Atkinson with the next one for Villa. He scored. It's 4-2, and a little bit of daylight appears for Aston Villa. Critical now for Tranmere Rovers. One of their longest serving players, Dave Higgins, has got the responsibility of scoring from the spot now.
Well, whoever's the next player for Aston Villa, they'll be hoping that obviously he misses this and he doesn't have to take it. But Higgins has had a good match, played very well.
critical kick, and he scored right into the roof of the net. Thank you very much, no problem. Wow, the relief. 4-3.
I think the person who's going to take the last penalty for Villa is the one I hope wouldn't, because I can't say his name, but you're very good at it.
Ugo Ehiogu is this young man, a Londoner, who came to Villa via West Bromwich Albion. Talented, mature for his age, and he's going to need that maturity and calmness now, because this penalty, let's face it, this could be the one that sends Villa to Wembley, quite possibly. He's hit the bar! Tranmere are still alive!
Well, now you feel sorry for him, you know. You felt sorry for the Tranmere lad. But it goes on, this game. I mean, every time you think you're going to get a result, something's going to happen that you predict, it takes another turn. And now it's, if anything, it has swung Tranmere's way.
And it's interesting that Tranmere's #1 penalty taker, the man who scored the penalty, of course, during the normal 90 minutes, as Ehiogu is consoled by his teammates, Aldridge, the man who normally takes the penalties, has been saved up for the last, and as it turns out, most crucial. If he scores here, it's 4-4, and they're still alive, and he has scored. Now it's sudden death.
I bet Johnny King would like a drink now if he can find Gary Newbon, and certainly Ron too. But what can you say? I mean, you watch the players in the middle, you can't see them on the TV screens, but you watch them in the middle there, and they're all consoling each other, whether they're in a claret and blue shirt or a blue and white shirt, you know. No one likes to see someone miss a penalty, but someone's going to have to miss one or we're going to be here all night.
And of course, you can't use the players who've already taken penalties as well. That's a rule. It has to go right through the rest of the team now, including, if necessary, the goalkeepers.
Yeah, and you start to think of Villa and Townsend, who's not 100% fit, and I think it's his left foot, I'm not sure, his left leg that he got injured. He's limping around the middle. He'll be open, Richardson scores, and that Tranmere miss one.
Certainly will. Richardson for Villa. And he has missed it. The Tranmere players are celebrating, but they better just mute those celebrations briefly. They've still got to score themselves, of course. But Richardson's miss has now given Tranmere Rovers the moment that they have dreamed of. And Liam O'Brien is the man who will be coming forward, and if he scores from the penalty spot, Tranmere Rovers will be at Wembley. And the club that's never played at the top level of English football in its 73-year history are one kick away from Wembley. What drama!
He'll be the coolest man on the park, this chap taking this one.
He saved it, Bosnich!
I told you it'd be cool, I didn't say he'd score it. Dear me, it's incredible, it's just swinging to and fro here, and you know, you say you shouldn't have penalty kicks, but let's be honest, it's exciting if nothing else. It might not be the ideal way to decide these games. I mean, Ron Atkinson's having a word with the referee now. I think he wants to take one.
You see him in training, you'd know why as well. But he's got to contain his anxiety and his tension and all the other things a little bit longer. Yes, Ron, quite. Daly is going to take it. The sudden death continues. It gets to the fans, it gets to the players, it gets to the commentary box as well, I can tell you. Remember, now it's not a case of a certain number each. It's just, you score, next one miss, you're through, they're out. Daly has scored.
The best penalty we've seen for a while in this penalty shootout. He was cool as a cucumber and he just slotted it in. And now the pendulum swings the other way. Tranmere will feel, oh, you know, we had our chance and it's gone, and we're not going to Wembley. But they've still got a chance. They've hung in all the time here today, and they've got to knock this penalty in now.
And I would not want to be the man who has the job of taking this penalty here. I would not want to be in his shoes. Ian Nolan has got to score this, got to score it, or Tranmere are out. Bosnich, the hero. Aston Villa
level, and you're going to get people saying maybe he shouldn't be on the pitch, but let's forget that. He made some great saves in that penalty shootout. I feel very sorry for Tranmere and Johnny King, but whoever gets through from this, they've earned the right to be at Wembley, and well done Aston Villa.
An amazing finish, but as Kevin Keegan has quite rightly pointed out, when all the hullabaloo has died down and the post-mortems are carried out, some people, and I'm certain a lot of them from Merseyside, will say, should Bosnich have even been in a position to save those penalties? Anyway, he did, he was, and this save sent his club to Wembley and the Coca-Cola Cup final, where they will play Sheffield Wednesday or Manchester United. Poor Ian Nolan, but a delighted, or really the word is relieved, Ron Atkinson can celebrate now. He becomes only the second manager ever to take 3 different clubs now to Wembley in this competition, where he will face one of his old sides, come what may. Let's all take a breather and let's all take a break.